Throughout my 20s, I've identified 7 skills that you must have before you can make a lot of money in business and ultimately get rich. I've noticed these through countless meetings with entrepreneurs in property, tech, and creative industries, and I've realized that regardless of your field, with these skills, you're almost guaranteed to make more money. So let's get into it. First, you need your unique money-making skill. Every successful entrepreneur I've ever met is pretty good in many fields, but they are exceptional at 1 or 2 things, and therefore, so should you be. These are going to be the core skills that you use to earn your initial money when you're starting out, and can also be a fallback when times get tough. As a developer myself, I always tell people to learn to code, but to be honest, it can be any specialist skill. Being an amazing editor or marketer, being an accountant, or being exceptional at sales are all great examples of unique money-making skills. As an entrepreneur, you're going to naturally go through ups and downs, but if you know that whatever happens, you can quickly make some money freelancing or getting a short-term job, it allows you to be much braver when running your own business. Regardless of what happens, you'll always have that skill to fall back on. Equally, the more specialist skills you have, the less you're going to need to pay people to do things for you when you're first starting out, and startup capital's really tight, which dramatically increases your chances of success. Next, we have independent thinking. This sounds simple, but being able to critically think for yourself without input from others is absolutely essential. If you've only ever worked in businesses or are still at school or university, you've probably never had to do this, as there's always someone that you need the permission or agreement of, but you need to be able to trust your instincts and avoid herd mentality at all costs. If you want to create an exceptional amount of money in your life, you need to be able to make exceptional decisions. What's really funny about exceptional decisions is that by definition, they're the exception to the rule, which means most people wouldn't make them, and therefore they won't agree. You're going to do some things that people will say are crazy or impossible, and that's okay. As the famous phrase goes, it always seems impossible until it's done. So get comfortable deciding what you think is possible and forget what other people tell you. Next, we have financial literacy and discipline. This one isn't the coolest thing to know by any means, but it could not be more important. If you say you want to make money, but aren't aware of how your local financial system works, it's like saying you want to become a grandmaster chess champion, but don't want to learn the rules. It doesn't make sense. You need to understand how personal and business tax works so you can make sensible decisions, and ideally how loan and debt instruments work as well. You honestly can't just rely on an accountant to make these decisions for you because it's just too slow. If you want to have a competitive advantage, you need to learn these things for yourself. Equal to understanding finances is being disciplined with your own finances. Align your spending to things that will help you to grow your income and business, and avoid major money pitfalls in life, like cars and expensive clothes. If you want to learn a bit more about how to improve your financial discipline, you can watch this video here. Similar to finances, you need to understand the basics of company structures and accounting. You need to know how to invoice, how to manage expenses, and even how to set up a company. People always focus on their business's USPs or products, but they forget that at the end of the day, it's just a business. If you're not set up correctly to make money, you will fail irrespective of how good your product or service is. If you don't know what options and equity is, what a founder's agreement is for, or the difference between net and gross margin, I suggest spending some time learning the basics as soon as possible. You don't want to launch the best business in the world to later be uninvestable or unsellable because you've made some silly mistake when you were just starting out. I know this isn't the most exciting part to everyone, but it will save you a lot of headaches in the long run. So just learn it. Alright, moving on. Next, you need to learn how to sell and pitch. It doesn't matter if your business is a service to other businesses, a consumer-facing tech company, or a media production firm. At some point, you're going to need to sell something to someone. That might be your product, it might be your service, or it might be your business for investment, but you're going to need to do it. Being able to pitch and sell is absolutely critical, as people buy people, not products. If you can't create a relationship with someone, demonstrate the value you and your business can provide, and then make them trust you, you're not going to get very far. There's loads of great resources on selling out there, but my personal opinion is that it's best to get good at this through practice. Find a way to incorporate some kind of sales into your day-to-day right now, particularly if you're in a role that normally isn't customer-facing. If you have a skill that isn't normally customer-focused, and yet you can articulate and sell well, you're going to become unstoppable. Now that we've covered the main business-centric skills, let's talk about personal skills. My next point is about personal discipline and delayed gratification. Being an entrepreneur, or even just highly career focused, is hard. Not everyone gets it, not everyone thinks it's right, and that's okay. You're going to spend days, weeks, and years working on things that people just don't care about or get yet. You need to understand that our brains are fundamentally not wired to accept that something we're doing isn't going to be fun or rewarding in the short term. We're programmed to look for dopamine as quickly as possible, and that's why it's so hard to remain disciplined when you're working on something new. You need to practice this. The longer you can work with little to no reward, the more likely you are to succeed. You've got to learn how to block out distractions and focus on what you believe will help you 2, 3, or 10 years' time. This gets much easier with practice, so try to do it as much as possible to give yourself the best chance of succeeding. This will also mean managing your time and social engagements really carefully, which leads me nicely to my final point, relationship management. As I said, not everyone's going to understand what you're doing. Most people want to work at most 8 hours a day, and you're going to need to work much more than that if you want to be successful and wealthy. and that's just a fact. That means you're going to have less time for social interactions than other people, and you're going to need to learn how to manage that. You're going to need to get comfortable saying no to your friends when they want to go to the bar during the week, for example. You're going to have to miss certain events. And to be clear, I'm not saying to become a hermit and lose all your friends, but you need to learn to prioritize and balance your time so that you can retain the relationships that matter to you the most and get the rest you need without living for other people and still working towards your goals. If you can master these 7 skills, I am confident that you will get rich much more quickly. Discipline and persistence are truly all you need to succeed in life. And I honestly believe that anyone can do it if they want it enough. It won't always be fun, and it won't always be rewarding. But ultimately, you can achieve amazing things when you stay focused and keep working towards your goals consistently. And if you've set your goals but are struggling to stick to them, you can watch my video on restarting your goals for the year by clicking here. And that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you agree or disagree with any of these points, I'd love to hear about your thoughts in the comments below. Have a great day.